I have come to learn that there is intelligence of higher dimensions out there which our scientific apparatus cannot detect and prove. But we humans, as much as we disregard, we intuitively know it to be true. Take, for example, the existence of genies, which most of us doubt. Are they even worthwhile? Welcome to Invisible Dimensions, where we share our mystical, paranormal, and supernatural encounters. We're running out of meat. I told my driver one morning, just before leaving for work. I need you to rush to Amgune's butchery. Buy me a few kilos before you take me to the office. By the way, madam, have you heard what has happened to Amgune? My driver asked, looking at me as he stood up to leave. What? I haven't heard anything, I said, vaguely surprised. You know, I have no relations with Amgune beyond the meat he sells us. Has something happened to him? Wah, 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 wah. Wah, madam, his genies have gone rogue, my driver exclaimed. What did you say? I asked, astonished, looking at him from head to toe, as if he'd gone mad. Amgune's genies have gone rogue, my driver, Lumosi repeated excitedly, gesticulating wildly. I laughed so hard. It was now his turn to look at me as though I was the mad one. Irritated. You see, I didn't know what genies are, though I had grown up hearing of them. Fine, I understand that there might be more to this world, our world, more than what we humans can see, touch, and smell. But I have always considered the numerous stories we had growing up as utter nonsense. True, I believe in God and angels and the devil, but anything beyond that, be it supernatural phenomena, supernatural invisible spirit beings, ghosts, among others, I have always considered as bavardage, just made up stories told to scare children. Until this day, when my driver casually brought up the story of Amgune's genies. I'm sorry, I said apologetically, still laughing, my eyes wet. But you surely don't expect me to believe what you're saying. For such as I don't even believe in the existence of genies. And such like, where did you even hear such nonsense? Gray himself told me. My driver said vehemently. I was with him last Friday evening. I had gone to buy some meat for my family and he was there complaining. Lucy, get serious, I said dismissively, still laughing. Even if it were true that Amgune has a genius, he can just tell everyone. He would be the very first person I know to come out openly and admit that he keeps genius. Madam, my driver persisted zealously. I was not alone when he told us. Mzee Makamu was present. Another old man, Liayu, was also there. To say the truth, we were all perplexed when he started telling us that. We were surprised that he would openly and candidly just talk about it. Maybe he was just pranking you, I said skeptically, still amused. You know Mgune loves to talk. No, it wasn't a prank. This time he was serious, Lumosi interjected emphatically. He needs help. He was asking for our help. Help to do what? I asked, incredulously, confused, starting to believe him. I could see in his eyes that he was telling the truth. What kind of help did he want from you? He wants to get rid of them, my driver said, straight-faced. I'm going to want to do away with the genies. So? I asked, not understanding why he didn't. He should just dispose them off. What does he need other people for? The genies have refused to go. They have made it explicitly clear that they will not leave, and therein lies the dilemma. So Amgune is looking for anyone who knows how to get rid of genies. I was not laughing anymore. I realized that maybe my driver was serious. I told him to sit back down and brief me from the very beginning. For starters, my driver is just about my father's age, so I respect him very much. I treat him just as I would treat my dad. Besides, he's been in my family for so long. He's worked for us for about 10 years. And in all that time, I have never heard him tell a lie. He's the to-go-to person when you want to hear the truth. But above all, he never speaks much. He's the kind of person who only speaks when spoken to or when it is really necessary for him to speak. In fact, I was surprised when he brought up the Amgune story. Start from the very beginning, I said, curiously expectant, as I made myself comfortable on the couch. All ears. Amugune grew up under so much poverty, my driver began. His parents were very poor. He never got much education. He barely finished junior primary level. He started working on people's farms at a very tender age. As he got older, he moved from working on farms to carrying people's luggages in the market on his handcart. He saved some money, enough to rent a place and start his meat business. Thriving in business is not as easy as people think. So he made friends with other traders who were doing well and soon got to learn some of their secrets. I'm going to learn that most of the businesses we see thriving here are under the protection and the power of Jinns. He said that most business people procure Jinns to influence customers to flock their shops, hence more sales. Madam, have you never wondered why all these years we only buy meat from Amgune's butchery and nowhere else, regardless of his prices? And sometimes his meat is not always that good. Huh? The Jinn is also literally steal from other people for their owners. Being invisible, stealing money is easy for them. If you have enemies you need to deal with, maybe other business competitors, the Jinns deal with them on your behalf. No one can ever suspect you had a hand in vanquishing them. We also protect you and your property. No human can forcibly steal from you. They also influence huge business contracts to come your way. They also see and influence the future, hence good advisors on what risks to take for seamless expansion and growth. It was on this premise but Mgune, hoping to escape poverty, was convinced into purchasing Jinns for his household. Apparently, you buy a pair, male and female, always. Unfortunately, the man who convinced and helped Mgune to purchase them didn't tell him the disadvantages of owning Jinns. First, they cannot be enslaved. They are beings with a free will and they choose to do what they want. They do not always submit to humans unless certain fundamental conditions are first met. To start with, they do not eat human food. Luckily, Amugune, being a butcher, has a constant supply of blood to feed them. Unfortunately, just as we humans, they tire of eating only one type of food and they demand variety. Human blood is especially a delicacy for them. You must also provide shelter for them, an ample, quiet place where humans will not disturb them. Being invisible, bodiless beings, they sometimes ask to inhabit the body of one of your family members to operate efficiently. There are many other subtle conditions you must meet for them to work for you. Amgune so far has been able to meet most of these conditions. And so I asked, perplexed, my head still reeling in disbelief. If Amgune has complied with everything, why are they not satisfied? You see, over the years, Amgune has occasionally been giving them blood from distant relatives and strangers. They now want blood from his own nuclear family, Lumusi said placidly. I burst out laughing again. Lumosi, you know, if this is a joke, you are taking it too far, I said derisively, unbelieving. Madam, you know me, he replied earnestly. I heard this from the horse's mouth. Amugune was nearly crying, telling us all this. He says he cannot bring himself to sacrifice any one of his family members. He therefore made the decision that it was now time for the genies to go. The genies said they would only go away on condition that they carry away the wealth they brought into his home. Amugune agreed. He doesn't mind going back to poverty if that is the price he has to pay to preserve the lives of his family members. When the genies realized that Amugune wouldn't budge, they decided to stay put in the home, go nowhere, but just make the home uninhabitable. Madam, those genies have raised hellfire in Amugune's home. They physically assault them. You just feel someone slapping you across your face, but you can't see them. This has made Amugune's children desert the home. They don't even come to visit. It has just been Amugune and his wife in the house. The genies have now taken to sexually molesting his wife. His wife says that she's overwhelmed. She cannot take it anymore, that she's too old for such, especially since those invisible beings ride roughshod. The genies keep throwing stones on their roof, at their glass windows and doors, on anything that can break. Sometimes, especially in the middle of the night, the genies just start wailing and ensuring that those in the home cannot sleep. If you ignore and continue sleeping, they will literally come and scream directly in your ear. Sometimes they throw sand in their food, hence they rarely eat at home. They are extremely naughty and have been such a nuisance. So why can't Amugune just force them out? I mean, just eject them relentlessly, create a hostile environment for them not to stay as well. Look at him short, confused. Madam, that is the problem Amugune has found himself in. My driver continued animatedly. You see, 2 months ago, Amugune put them in his car, drove off and threw them in River Isioho. On driving back home, he was appalled to see them open the gate for him. They taunted and reminded him that they are invisible supernatural beings who cannot be trapped. All Amugune's servants in the home left. The person who sold him the genies died a few years back. He would have taken them back. Amugune has reached his wit's end. That is why he now keeps asking anyone who cares to give him an ear how to get rid of genies that have gone rogue. In the beginning, he kept them as a secret. But now, after this much suffering in their hands, he's just talking about them publicly to anyone who cares to listen. Madam, a problem shared is a problem half solved. He's now considering selling off his home and lands and relocate to some other place. I will buy such a home that is possessed? I asked reproachfully. Surely he must disclose to the would-be buyers of what is going on. He is counting on the fact that most people believe genies to be imaginary beings. So even if they hear rumors, few will believe. Plus, he is selling it off cheaply, my driver explained. Even as we are speaking, Amugune and his wife have recently relocated from their home. They have rented a house in town. The home is now deserted. Moving out of their home is too much. That is extreme, don't you think? I asked disapprovingly. Why can't they pray? Have they tried engaging men and women of God? Amgune doesn't believe in God, but his wife goes to church. I think that is the course of action they have now taken. They have been told deliverance is a journey, though. It doesn't work like a magic wand where one just waves it and all their problems disappear. Lumosi cautionarily said. You know what? I said nervously, standing up. Don't go buy the meat from Amugune. In fact, Let's just go to work. I will buy the meat myself on the way back home. I have been mulling this story over for the past few days. I cannot make head or tail of it. I'm not even sure I'm convinced that genies do exist. I can't help but wonder, though, could there be something in the whole story? Does anyone of you out there know how to get rid of genies? So, what is your take? Have you heard of genie stories before? Have you ever encountered them? Do you know any people who have encountered them? Are the riches they purportedly bring worthwhile? At what price? Are there people who have successfully made pacts with genies and benefited? Do you still doubt the existence of genies? Please share with us in the comments section. Thank you for watching this video. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share to help us grow.